Seduction meets shadow, desire becomes a mirror for power, truth, and transformation. As Venus dives into Scorpio's waters, love stops being polite and starts getting real. Welcome to Planet Earth. Eliane Nicole, your astrologer and tarot reader, here with the planetary ingresses to help you surf these cosmic currents with awareness, grace, and alignment. In this video, I am going to break down the astrology of Venus in Scorpio, November 6th through November 30th, 2025, what it means collectively, how it expresses through the archetypes of desire and transformation, the key aspects shaping her 3-week journey, and how this energy will express for each rising sign. We will also look at what it means that Venus is in her detriment in Scorpio and currently hosted by Mars in Sagittarius, a ruler she cannot see, bringing both tension and creative fire to her mission of love and rebirth. Before we dive in, I would love your support in helping me grow this community. Please make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and drop a like or a comment. It truly helps me in the algorithm and allows me to continue offering these free astrology reports. I am on a personal mission to reach 1,000 subscribers by Thanksgiving. So don't be a jive turkey. Subscribe, like, comment, and share this video with a friend who loves astrology or tarot. Every subscriber truly makes a difference. Now, without further ado, let's talk about Venus in Scorpio. Venus enters Scorpio on Thursday, November 6th at 2:39 p.m. Pacific Time, staying until November 30th. Venus is the goddess of love and beauty, ruler of romance, art, attraction, pleasure, money, and justice, as well as women, sisters, daughters, lovers, and muses. For Taurus and Libra risings, Venus is your chart ruler, so she represents you. Taurus and Libra suns and moons also feel her movements strongly. Venus is in detriment in Scorpio, far from her comfort zone in Taurus. Here she trades softness for depth, roses for thorns. She wants to merge completely, body, mind, and soul. This year she's hosted by Mars in Sagittarius, a fiery ruler she cannot see, and that tension between emotional bond and personal freedom colors the entire cycle. This is Venus as femme fatale, detective, goth muse, the beauty who looks beneath the surface. Venus in Scorpio can expose the shadow side of love, jealousy, envy, obsession, betrayal, but her true power is alchemy. She turns pain into passion and envy into vision. And yes, this is one of the sexiest Venus placements in the zodiac. Venus rules pleasure, attraction, and desire, and in Scorpio, those impulses go subterranean. This is erotic magnetism with depth, the kind that awakens you at the soul level. Venus in Scorpio does not flirt, she fuses. She wants to know you through and through, to taste your truth, to dissolve the boundary between pleasure and transformation. Sex under this Venus is not casual, it is catalytic. It reveals truth, exposes fear, and binds people through intensity. It can bring ecstasy and healing or obsession and control, depending on how consciously we meet it. Scorpio is also the sign of taboo, what society hides, represses, or labels as too much. During this transit, the forbidden becomes magnetic. We are drawn to explore what we normally keep off limits. Whether that means sexual experimentation, revealing hidden desires, or confronting emotional power dynamics in relationships. Beyond love and sex, Venus also governs money and justice, and her Scorpio expression takes those themes into the underworld too. Where Venus in Libra seeks fairness in the court of law, Venus in Scorpio seeks truth in the court of the soul. Financially, this exposes buried issues around debt, taxes, inheritance, and shared resources. Who holds power, who controls access, and what balance really means when emotions are involved. In matters of justice, Scorpio insists on accountability and karmic rebalancing. Secrets are unearthed, corruption comes to light, and truth becomes the highest currency. Venus in Scorpio wants integrity, not polite diplomacy, but raw honesty in both love and money. The modern detectives think Candace Owens probing the Epstein web, Maria Ressa investigating state power, and Carol Cadwalder unraveling data corruption. Each embodies the Venus and Scorpio urge to seek beneath the veil and speak uncomfortable truths. The femme fatale uses allure as intuition, beauty as a weapon. The goth girl redefines darkness as art. Wednesday and Morticia Adams setting the style tone again. Also, I don't know her astrology, but I think it's interesting that Rama Duwaji, the wife of New York's new mayor Mamdani, has risen to prominence in the beauty and style conversation as Venus entered Scorpio. To me, she has that very Venus and Scorpio dark beauty in the colors she wears and her hair and her makeup, and she just exudes that slightly mysterious Venus and Scorpio vibe. Venus and Scorpio can also be the water athlete, divers, surfers, synchronized swimmers. Scorpio's mental prowess. Expect water athletes to capture the spotlight. In fashion and art, expect a pull towards black, red, hunter green, leather, lace, and magnetism. Venus and Scorpio is dressed to kill and ready to transform the room. If you were born with Venus and Scorpio, you live with this frequency every day. Intense, private, magnetic, and unafraid of emotional truth. During this transit, native Venus and Scorpio individuals will experience their Venus return, a personal renewal of the heart and creative spirit that sets the tone for the next month, eight-month Venus cycle. It's a rebirth of your desires, values, and style, a time when you can consciously remagnetize love, money, and artistic expression. Demi Moore, Leonardo DiCaprio, Zoe Kravitz, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Adam Driver, and Julia Roberts all share this placement, and you can feel it in their eyes, in their aura, in their creative intimacy. But while those with this placement carry it for life, during this transit we all interact with these themes. For 3 weeks, the collective love language turns mystic, magnetic, and intense. When Venus steps into Scorpio on November 6th, she leaves her Libra drawing room and descends into the depths. A goddess trading velvet gloves for leather ones. The shift is immediate. What was diplomatic becomes decisive. November 7th, she meets Pluto in Aquarius by square, and the undercurrents of power and love surface. Secrets and control issues rise for review. By November 15th, she squares Pallas Athene in Aquarius, testing our balance between logic and instinct. We see whether our strategies in love align with truth. Under the Scorpio new moon on November 19th, Venus trines the North Node in Pisces and sextiles the South Node in Virgo. This is the karmic heartbeat of the cycle. Soul contracts, fated encounters, and creative rebirths that carry through to December's new moon in Sagittarius. Mars in Sagittarius, ruled by retrograde Jupiter in Cancer, adds a layer of expansive healing through emotional truth. Around November 24th, Venus conjoins Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. The return of the message, the call, the unfinished story, love letters, and artistic ideas reemerge from the depths. Then comes November 26th, and the waters part. Venus trines Jupiter retrograde in Cancer and Saturn retrograde in Pisces, forming a grand water trine. Healing love, creative abundance, and emotional flow return. It is a moment of ease after the storm. But remember, the shadow side of the water trines is that making everything flow. They make everything flow, and that includes what we would rather not have flowing. So while this can bring grace, it can also bring floods, emotional or literal. Let the currents carry you, but keep your anchor in self-awareness. Finally, November 29th through 30th brings the chaos crescendo. Venus opposes Uranus retrograde in Taurus at 29 degrees, trining Neptune retrograde in Pisces at 29 degrees. Expect revelations, breakthroughs, and sudden shifts in relationships and values. This mini trine delivers a closure and creative genius before Venus bursts into Sagittarius for a new adventure. Now let's talk about the broad strokes by rising signs. Listen for your rising sign first, then your sun and moon. Each interpretation considers that Venus in Scorpio is hosted by Mars in Sagittarius. Depth, meets freedom, intimacy meets expansion. Aries rising, Venus travels your 8th house of shared resources, intimacy, and power. You are confronting truths about trust and merging. Mars in Sagittarius in your 9th inspires you to philosophize your way through the shadow, turning fear into faith. Taurus rising, Venus moves through your 7th house of partnerships, opposing your rising sign. Relationships become mirrors. Mars in Sagittarius in your 8th adds themes of shared resources and sexual truth. Intimacy requires courage and honesty. Gemini rising, Venus in your 6th house brings passion to your daily work and self-care habits. Mars in Sagittarius in your 7th adds fire to collaborations. Partnership chemistry fuels productivity, but needs clear boundaries. Cancer rising, Venus ignites your 5th house of creativity, romance, and pleasure. Mars in Sagittarius in your 6th asks for healthy discipline to support the art. Passion projects and love affairs flourish with structure. Leo rising, Venus in your 4th house pulls you into family, home, and emotional roots. Mars in Sagittarius in your 5th wants fun and freedom. Balance between private depth and creative expression is key. Virgo rising, Venus in your 3rd house sharpens your words and deepens your dialogue. Mars in Sagittarius in your 4th adds fire to the home front. Emotional truths must be spoken clearly and kindly. Libra rising, Venus is your chart ruler and in your 2nd house, focusing on money and self-worth. Mars in Sagittarius in your 3rd urges you to speak boldly about your value and to pitch your art or ideas with confidence. Scorpio rising, Venus in your 1st house makes you magnetic, mysterious, and powerfully persuasive. Mars in Sagittarius in your 2nd pushes you to invest in yourself and assert your value. Your presence alone is currency. Own it consciously. Sagittarius rising, Venus in your 12th house draws you into the dream realm. Secrets, fantasies, old loves. Mars in your 1st makes you visible and vocal. Honor your private healing while stepping into your power. Capricorn rising, Venus in your 11th house of community and collaboration intensifies social bonds. Mars in Sagittarius in your 12th adds a spiritual lens. Serve a vision larger than yourself. Aquarius rising, Venus in your 10th house makes you alluring in public life. Mars in Sagittarius in your 11th energizes networks and audiences. Magnetism meets momentum. Career wins through connectivity. Pisces rising, Venus in your 9th house deepens faith and philosophy. Mars in Sagittarius in your 10th propels vision into action. Love, art, and belief become vehicles for truth. For the more detailed rising sign by sign breakdown, subscribe to my Substack, Keys to the Cosmos, where I go deeper into how these transits show up uniquely for you. To book a reading, go to elianenicole.com. The link is in my description box. And in conclusion, life is lifing, the world is worlding. Stay heavily meditated, my friend.